Hello, Dr. Brant Hulsebus here, and welcome to another edition of Ask the Chiropractor. Ask the Chiropractor is my little podcast that I do when someone has a question about chiropractic or chiropractic care. I try to answer. I'm a chiropractor here in Rockford, Illinois. I'm a proud graduate of Palmer College of Chiropractic, and I'm happy to be the team chiropractor of the Rockford Ice Hogs. Let's dive into it. Hello, welcome to episode 11 of 12. If you're just joining us, I invite you to go back and listen to some of the pre-episodes where we dive into different things about what chiropractors do and what chiropractors don't do. I wanted to get back into this a little bit about some of the myths and some of the false things that have been said about chiropractors over the years, and maybe why this happened. And some of the things maybe you've seen on YouTube and stuff like that you've seen happen over the years. And I want to try to clarify what is and what's not really chiropractic. First thing is, I never took a class at chiropractic school where I wrapped somebody's towel around their neck and yanked on it. Every chiropractic adjustment we do here is very precise and specific, aiming for a particular vertebrae, using a very precise line of drive and torque correction on that vertebrae. Here at Rockford, our clinic, we isolate individual vertebrae through a chiropractic exam and x-ray to find the correct vertebrae. Never will you see us grab an entire chunk of the spine, yank, pull, push, or do anything to try to do a gross manipulation in the entire area. That is not chiropractic as I know chiropractic. So when you see these things, these techniques, this is not something I would ever have anybody ever do to me. Anybody ever try to put that on me. So I definitely would never do it in my office. So if you come into my clinic in Rockford, Illinois, want to see me strap you down, grab a towel, yank and pull on you, it's just never going to happen here because that's not real chiropractic. And I say that because it's not taught at any chiropractic college. None of the national associations endorse this or think it's a good thing. And I think only one malpractice carrier will even consider to cover you if you do these moves. So that's not chiropractic. We have a lot of kids that come and see us that job shadow with us, and they watch those videos hoping they're going to see that. And the first thing I do is I burst their bubble, tell them there's nothing like you're going to see here in this office. Everything we do here is very precise and exact. The next is, I hear a lot of even foolish medical doctors, and I had a DO at ISOG even tell me that anybody does anything to the neck, they increase the risk of stroke, and that's just totally made up. You can go into PubMed, type it in, you can see that there's no incidence of that. Probably about 10 years ago, the American Heart and American Stroke Association claimed this was a thing too. The PubMed articles, the real scientific articles, went back and totally debunked this and called baloney on what they reported, and what they reported was only a quarter truth. Basically what happens is if you have an artery in your neck that is hemorrhage or leaking blood, the number one symptom of that is severe neck pain. Where do people go when they have severe neck pain? It's not weird for someone to go to a chiropractor when they have severe neck pain. Although this shouldn't be a surprise, but I'm always shocked by it. In chiropractic college, they actually trained us who's not safe to adjust, how to identify things, how to know when someone's having a bigger issue. We're actually taught that what a kidney stone is and how your lower back pain might be a kidney stone and not a chiropractic adjustment. I know it's amazing that they would talk about that in 8 years of college. That would even come up. I'm always amazed by that. I even had a patient come in today. She just had knee surgery, and I was told by the doctor that I should probably not put her on her side and twist on her back to get her hips adjusted. I was like, boy, it's a good thing they told me that, because we never discussed that in chiropractic college. It's comical to me. I told her it's okay to go back and continue to work with this doctor, to tell him I give him my blessing, because it's just as silly sounding as anything else. So if you were to have this hemorrhaging in your neck of a blood vessel, and you turn your head left or right, it could make it worse. Well, we're trained to identify this. Where it's not identified, they also call it a beauty salon stroke, because you go to your hair wash and they turn your head, and it can happen too. It can also happen just backing out of your driveway. It can happen just getting dressed. But when you go to the medical doctor and they turn your head the same way that a chiropractor might, they discovered it, we caused it. There's been a biasism towards chiropractic from the American Medical Association for a long time. Up until the early 1990s, the American Medical Association had a division on quackery, they called it, where they literally were trying to destroy the chiropractic profession. And I can say this without being feared of repercussion, because Chester Wilk, a chiropractor in the Chicagoland area, actually sued the AMA as an antitrust, and he was able to get his hands on the documents and the stuff that the AMA was doing to try to ruin chiropractors. And he sued the AMA, and he won. You can look it up, the AMA versus Chester Wilk, W-I-L-K. And when Chester passed away a few years ago, I had the unique privilege of going up to his house, and his family donated all his possessions to the profession. And I got to load up my vehicle with all of his awards and honors. I actually got to hold the Supreme Court papers in my hand. I got to read the transcripts. These are all now well preserved in the International Chiropractic Association's headquarters, and some of them at Palmer College archives. So I've actually got to see the stuff, and I got to talk to Chester Wilk several times before he passed away. And he actually sued the AMA for trying to say bad things about us. And a lot of this stuff with the neck issue came from those lawsuits, came from them bad-mouthing us, came from them saying bad things about us. And these things just aren't true. But chiropractic started in 1895. Chester Wilk won his lawsuit in the early 90s. So we're talking about at least 9 decades of lies. It's amazing how 9 decades of lying about something most people can actually start to think it's the truth. When I lie about something for 9 years, 90 years, it's easy for someone to think that's actually the fact. And so every once in a while we come across a medical doctor in Rockford that will still say chiropractors are dangerous, chiropractors hurt people. I learned it at school. I talk a lot about my football coach. He coached me the way he was coached, you coached the way he was coached, you coached the way he was coached. Football coaching hasn't changed much. So a professor teaches the way he was taught, who teaches the way they were taught. And these lies and these misconceptions and these lies about chiropractic continue from the decades of lies. Now today we have social media, we have the internet, we have research papers online where you can go read this stuff for yourself. And you've heard me several times refer to PubMed. PubMed's a really neat place where they store research. In order to get indexed on PubMed, you have to go through some of the highest level of scrutiny to make sure what you're writing is actually true. So if I want to get PubMed indexed, I send my paperwork and I just get published after they've been able to validate there's no errors in my research. It's 2026 and we're just now really starting to get the COVID papers on PubMed because it took that long to validate the research on COVID was accurate in order for it to get listed onto PubMed. So just type in this chiropractic safe PubMed on a Google search. You'll find all kinds of articles about the safeness of chiropractic. I know chiropractic safe for one simple fact. We pay some of the lowest possible malpractice rates of any type of healthcare provider. If we were dangerous, surely our malpractice would be astronomical. There'd be so many lawsuits and things against us. People would be suing us and coming after us left and right that our malpractice rates would be astronomical. According to the things I hear from other doctors about how dangerous we are, we'd be the same as trying to insure a 16-year-old male driver who has a drinking issue. It'd be astronomically expensive. My last associate, Dr. Sam, when she first started practice, her malpractice was lower, what she paid in a whole year, than an orthopedic doctor who works with backs pays in a day. She paid less for a year than they pay for a day. So how could we possibly be that dangerous if our practice is that low? Let's talk about one last little thing that we hear a lot about chiropractors, that popping noise. They're cracking my bones, they're snapping ligaments, things are shifting and moving. What that noise is, you've heard me talk a lot about when the spine's misaligned, the body will lock down and protect it. What happens is pressure builds up inside those joints. And that pressure is the liquid under pressure. And when you take a liquid under pressure and you release the pressure, there's an audible noise. So when you crack your knuckles, that is just gas being released from inside your joints. It's called cavitation. Maybe your grandmother told you that gives you arthritis. Grandma was wrong, that's not true. But the cavitation is just simply gases being released from a joint. Think about a can of pop or soda. When you open it, there's a popping noise. That stuff's under pressure, you open it, pressure's released, it pops. Maybe not a bottle, you get more of a when you undo a bottle, right? Because it's a hiss. When you open a can, you pop, you hear this pop, right? Because it makes that popping sound. Same principle, same physics. We're not snapping ligaments or popping tendons. That's crazy. Again, we'd injure so many people, our malpractice would be outrageous. But again, we have some of the lowest malpractice of anybody. Maybe you've heard chiropractors aren't real doctors. I challenge you to find the word doctor. Doctrine usually means you learn a doctrine. As chiropractors, I did 4 years of college, got my bachelor's of science, and I went on to chiropractic school. Chiropractic school is 10 trimesters, so 10 semesters. Each semester is over 30 hours. After I graduated, I earned a doctrine of chiropractic. Just like if you remember, President Biden's wife had a doctorate in education. When you get a doctrine, you call yourself doctor. So I call myself a doctor of chiropractic. I don't call myself a medical doctor. I never thought to be a medical doctor. I want to be a chiropractor. So we're doctors of chiropractic, DC. Not a medical doctor, not a DO, doctor of osteopath. We're DCs, doctors of chiropractic, because we want a doctrine. Just like your dentists earn a doctrine, you call them doctor also. So those are some of the rules and myths and things about chiropractors. I hope I answered them. If you've had a question or a myth you've heard about chiropractic, you want to know if it's true or not, feel free to leave a comment below. I'll be honest with you. I've been in practice since 2002. When someone comes to my office and they act like they're scared, they're acting like they're frightful, like we're going to hurt them or do something bad to them, I just tell them to come back a different day when they're ready to start. I don't try to convince anybody. I have a practice, luckily, that's full of patients that already knows it works. I don't really waste my time anymore on people that come with me that stuff. And for the medical doctors I've worked with in the past that have said that chiropractic isn't real, I just shove so much research and data down their throats, I never hear from them again. So when you actually want to break down the science and the research and the data, I'm always happy to have that conversation. If you're watching this, listening to this, and you want to challenge me, don't just write something bad about chiropractic. Show me the data, show me the research, show me where you read that, and may I have a copy. And let's discuss the research and the data you have. Prove me wrong through science, not just through being a little troll on the internet. But if you have a real question about chiropractic or chiropractic care, remember only a chiropractor is authorized to answer that question or educated to answer that question. Leave a comment below. I'll be happy to answer it. If you ever want me to cite my work, go ahead, ask me. I'm happy to do that. I do it all the time. Other than that, have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, if you have questions about chiropractic or chiropractic care, only a chiropractor can answer. This is episode 11. Come back next week. We can do episode 12 where we wrap it all up. Thank you.